Greetings, high vibrational beings. Have you ever noticed that the moment you start loving yourself more, life starts talking to you differently? You see repeating numbers, you think of someone and they call, you ask the question internally, and the answer appears somewhere unexpected, like in a song, right? Most people call these things coincidences. But what if synchronicities are not coincidences at all? This conversation is about increasing synchronicities through self-love and receiving divine guidance. What if they are energy responding to your alignment with self-love? Today, I want to talk about something that many of us experience but rarely discuss openly, and that is synchronicity. You know, those moments when life feels like it's communicating with you. And what I've come to understand in my own journey with love consciousness is this: synchronicities increase when we begin to delight ourselves in self-love. Not perform self-love, not post about self-love, but actually allow ourselves to experience the tenderness of accepting who we are. Because when we accept ourselves, our energy changes. When our energy changes, the universe responds. So let's talk about synchronicities as energy transfer. One of the biggest misunderstandings about synchronicity is that people think it's random. But synchronicity is actually a form of energetic communication. It's a transference of energy between your consciousness and the greater field of intelligence that we often call spirit. Think about it this way. Everything is energy. Your thoughts are energy. Your emotions are energy. Your nervous system is energy moving through the body. When you begin practicing self-love, your system starts to relax. You become less defensive. You are less guarded. You are less contracted. And in that openness, your awareness expands. This is where synchronicities begin to show up more frequently. Not because they weren't always there, but because you are finally open enough to notice them. So think about that for a moment. So now let's talk about accepting that you are deserving of knowledge from spirit. There's another piece of this that many people overlook, and that is worthiness. A lot of people experience synchronicities but immediately dismiss them. They say things like, oh, that's probably just a coincidence. That's just my imagination. That doesn't mean anything. But when we reject synchronicity, we are often rejecting something deeper. We're rejecting the possibility that spirit actually communicates with us. And even more importantly, we are rejecting the idea that we are worthy of receiving that communication. Self-love begins the moment we allow ourselves to believe that wisdom is not reserved for someone else. It's not reserved for gurus or spiritual teachers or special people. Spirit speaks to all of us. The question is not whether spirit is communicating. The question is whether we have given ourselves permission to receive. Now, I want to talk about normalizing the unexplainable. One of the most beautiful things about the spiritual path is that not everything can be explained. I love this, by the way. And that's okay. So, in fact, I would say that the unexplainable is often where the deepest magic exists. When you can't explain it and it just happens, it's not random, it's just like a kiss from the universe, right? We live in a world that wants proof for everything. But spirit doesn't always operate through proof. Sometimes spirit operates through presence, through feeling, through an intuitive knowing, through a perfectly timed encounter. When we begin normalizing these experiences instead of dismissing them, We step into a deeper relationship with ourselves. And this is where self-love becomes sacred, because trusting the unexplainable requires trusting yourself. And when these moments happen, it causes a certain vibration that really makes you feel good. Wouldn't you agree? So let's talk about synchronicity as an invitation to self-love. Here's something I've learned through my own experiences. Synchronicities are not just messages from spirit, they are also invitations. Every synchronicity is an invitation to remember something about yourself. To remember that you're connected, that you are guided, and to remember that you are not navigating this life alone. But more importantly, there are invitations to love yourself more deeply, because the more you delight in your own existence, the more you recognize that the universe delights in you as well. Okay, so the magic of self-love. The magic of self-love is when we begin embracing synchronicities instead of questioning them, something beautiful happens. Life starts to feel more alive, more responsive, more intimate. You begin to realize that the same intelligence that moves the stars and the ocean is also present within you. That realization is what I like to call magic. Not fantasy, not illusion, but the recognition that consciousness itself is sacred. And when you touch that awareness within yourself, you are touching the deepest form of self-love possible. So if you've been noticing more synchronicities in your life lately, instead of questioning them, try receiving them. Acknowledge it for what it is. Allow them to be reminders that you are connected to something greater than what the mind can explain. Allow them to be invitations into deeper self-love. Because the more you accept yourself, the more life begins to reveal its magic to you. I would love to know what synchronicities have been showing up in your life lately, and how might they be inviting you into a deeper relationship with yourself. Until the next time, continue walking in love consciousness and allow the magic of self-love to guide you. I am love consciousness, and I'll see you soon.